When everyone's on the same page, getting things done at work is easy. Make a bigger impact at work with Grammarly. Grammarly is your secure AI writing partner that allows your team to make their point and move faster. You can even save time by going from spending hours editing drafts to just seconds. Join the 96% of Grammarly users that say it helps them craft more impactful writing. Sign up and download Grammarly for free at grammarly.com/podcast. That's grammarly.com/podcast. Easier said, done.
Sometimes it takes a different approach to help you unlock your true potential. With Capella University's game-changing FlexPath learning format, you gain relevant skills you can apply to your career right away. Earn your degree from an accredited university and be confident in the quality of your education. Imagine your future differently at capella.edu. Capella University is accredited by the Higher Learning Commission. Learn more at capella.edu/accreditation.
Oh, yeah, baby. It is episode number 44. It is Will from the Think Different podcast back at you again for another week of amazing Apple stories. And I already told you who I am, but now let me introduce my co-host, ladies and gentlemen. It is Mr. Frank Funk.
Hey, what's going on, Will? How you doing?
I'm good, Frank. Everything is peachy king, got the overnight shit. I got my decaf coffee with almond milk because, I got that keto life going.
Oh.
So,
hey, how's that working for you?
Very well. I started off at 290. I'm down to about 268 now. I started that back at the end of January. So overall, it's very healthy. My wife, though, is the bigger story. She lost close to 40 pounds.
Wow.
She lost starting it. So she did an amazing turnaround. It was also for her diabetes. And I will tell you, if this is something you guys can stick with, I recommend it to everybody. We're also finding out, because we're also in the middle of trying to do pregnancy and we're trying to do IVF, that keto, believe it or not, is a way to help fix if you're trying to become pregnant, because apparently there's so many I guess all the crap that you eat inside your milk does not help. And not to mention, if you're diabetic, of course, having a keto-friendly diet with the less carbs, more fat, it eats away more of your carbs, and it just helps you to become healthier overall. So I'm going to just tell you that the keto diet is the way to go, and I'm going to recommend it for anybody.
I remembered that you were using on the keto, so I thought I'd ask you about it. But
oh, absolutely, I'm going to recommend anybody to do a keto diet. I think it is something you have to stick with, and you have to be strong on it. You have to skip. You gotta skip the starches. You have to skip, the bread. These are things you have, but you could find substitutes. So instead of having French fries, we have cauliflower tots. Okay. It's almond flour. You switch to almond flour, and you do it's mozzarella and cauliflower, and that's like my rice too. I replace cauliflower with my rice, and it is totally worth it.
I'll have to look into it.
Hey, this is Adam Carolla from the Adam Carolla Show. BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs. Whether it's pro or college hoops, BetOnline has it all throughout the entire college and pro hoop season. BetOnline has up-to-the-minute odds, stats, trends you can follow all season long. Follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contest, and all the best player props as well. BetOnline is one of the world's best wagering platforms anytime, anywhere, and you can follow from your desktop or your mobile device. So, head to the website today and become part of the team. BetOnline. BetOnline. The game starts here at BetOnline.
Luxury is meant to be livable. Discover the new leather collection at Ashley with premium quality leather sofas, recliners, and more, all built to last. No matter how many spills, scuffs, or pet-related mishaps come its way, the leather collection at Ashley is made with the durability you need for the whole family. Shop the new leather collection at Ashley and find chairs starting at $499.99 and sofas at $599.99. Ashley, for the love of home.
I would look into it. All you gotta do is try for a month, and you would be amazed how much you lose. But don't be cheating and get that pizza, Frank. All right, none of that pizza.
No,
All
I
right?
haven't had pizza in a while.
So
Okay.
2 piece of pizza, your day's done. In fact, you're over. So, Frank, anything special happen or anything going on this week?
With me, no, nothing special. Just another week in COVID.
Wow, that's very riveting stuff there, Frank.
I got nothing going on.
Hey, but I gotta tell you, since retired life, because you did retire after you left Apple,
Right.
What is that like? Like, what do you want to do?
Well, I had planned on doing a lot of golf until COVID hit, and I was going out about twice a week. So a couple of the guys that I used to work with, we would go out and play golf twice a week. That was nice. Other than that, I really haven't had anything because it was over the winter. Watching the grandkids whenever we can, taking them to ball practice, things like that.
They still do, and now since the whole coronavirus, have you had them over since that started?
Well, within safe distance. They haven't stayed over, or they, we just, would say hello, that kind of stuff. We haven't had an opportunity to take them to ball practice. Actually, they just started baseball up again.
Oh, he did. Oh, that's good.
Practicing anyway. We'll see what happens with the tournaments. I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of summer programs in my neighborhood have been completely canceled.
Yep.
So a lot of people are staying home this summer. There is not going to be much of a summer camp this year. So it's going to be very interesting how parents can't even go to work. A lot of the kids are staying home.
Yep.
So it's going to make it kind of difficult. So that's added on top of the fact that people can't work.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of news stories we want to talk about today. More Apple stores did open up, and we thought we'd end the show with an amazing story that was published on Apple News that I absolutely love. But let's get started with the very first news story that we have for today, and that is the Flexgate. Now, Frank, were you around for this, for the Flexgate?
No.
iFixit last year discovered that some MacBook Pro models released in 2016 and 17 experienced these uneven backlighting. And what that means is on the lower part of the screen, there would be it would be like a light and then a dip of black, light and then a dip of black. And this happens because of the stress of these, what we call like these bungee cables. There's these bungee cables that run underneath, and I used to have to fix them. They're tough. You have to like roll them, and they're really tight to keep basically the display hinged correctly. And this was at a cost. If you had no warranty on it, you would have to pay either $450 or $850 for these repairs. They believe that there is a defect in the device and that they should be fixing it. Now, Apple did extend the length of the cable in the 2018 MacBook Pro, which I have not. I barely saw it for a repair. They also launched a free program in May of 2019. So right now, if you have a 13-inch MacBook Pro, if you were sold between October of 2016 and February of 2018, you can get a free replacement as long as two main things are happening. Either A, your backlight continuously or intermittently shows those vertical lines on the bottom, or if the backlight completely stops working on your display. And I will tell you, I did see these at the Genius Bar, but not on the 13-inch. I saw it on the 15-inch as well. And the 15-inch is not included in this program.
I don't know. Do you think this lawsuit? I guess what you're saying then is that
I'll be honest, they always seem to work out that they are going to do it, especially if they're not covering the 15-inch. I mean, if Apple has already introduced a repair, if Apple has introduced a quality program, then, to me, a lawsuit doesn't mean anything. You could say you lost work or jobs or something maybe in a 5-day period, but to be honest, deal with it, go there. Now, if you have a 15-inch and they are not covering it, then yes, I would tell you probably have something to stand on.
Yeah, but answer me this, Will. If somebody came in with a 15 that had the same problem and it wasn't covered, you as a genius, you would have the ability to go to the manager or the lead genius and say, look, this really should be covered or whatever. And they may give you the leeway to do that now.
Well, I will always stick by what the warranty status is always going to be. there's many times I've given exceptions to customers, especially with manager discretion on it, depending on the situation. It does matter what the situation is and why we would be covering it, why we wouldn't be. It really has a lot to do with it. So, right away, I would say, well, if someone brought that to my attention, they had a 15-inch, like, well, the 15-inch is not under the warranty as of this time. However, if you do the repair and they do come out with a quality program, you will be informed and be refunded. That's what I could say. And that's because that's what it says.
Yeah.
And that's the best answer you could give. That would not, I feel like that would be the right answer to say based on me working there.
Yeah, well, as I was reading this article and this lawsuit, kind of, as an Apple employee, it kind of upsets me that people think that Apple's not going to do the right thing and that they have to file a class action lawsuit. To me, the only people that make money on a class action lawsuit are the
lawyers. Yeah, I don't know why exactly.
So I don't know. And the other thing is that I think a lot of these people, I would ask, my first question would be, did you go into a store?
Yeah.
Or did you talk to an external repair person? I had a bad experience before the Quaker Bridge store opened. I took my iMac to a authorized person. It was under warranty, and he still charged me $150.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really upset about that. But that was not Apple's fault. That was this guy trying to get over on a new user who didn't know any better.
And I was going to tell you, this law firm, the attorney says, imagine spending $2,500 on a laptop only for it to fall shortly of manufacturer's warranty expires. Well, then you can say that about anybody, though.
Yes,
everybody's got a warranty, and you have the option to buy AppleCare. And then he even says, what's more appalling is Apple has required customers to spend an additional $600 to $850 to replace the screen. That's how much the screen costs. And I think that has to do with, one, I think that specialists need to tell them a cost of some of the most common repairs that we do, which I think a battery and a display is definitely one of the top two. And that's how much it costs. I can tell you right now, they're not going to change their price. I mean, it's not like the battery program where they changed it for $29 because it affected like so many iPhones. So, I think this guy has never owned an Apple product in his life. That'd be my opinion. And to find out that they have to spend that, it just blows his mind. I'm like, well, dude, that's how much they've been costing since like 2013.
Right. And, well, look at it this way, too. Well, you go buy a new car. How much you spend on a new car? And what's the first thing they want to do? They want you to buy the extended warranty.
Many warranties. Tire warranty.
So I think that a lot of this they look at, Apple? You got a problem with Apple? Well, let's sue Apple because they got deep pockets.
Yep.
And, think of it. You have a problem with an Android. Where do you go? Where do you go to have it repaired? You go to
the phone carrier. Yep.
And then what's a carrier going to tell you? They're going to tell you, hey, you need a new phone.
Yep. They're going to send it out.
Yeah. I always tell people, listen, the best place you can go, you have a problem, you go to Apple, act like a human being, don't be belligerent, and 9 times out of 10, the staff is going to do the best they can to help you in your situation. They're not going to try to rake you over the coals. There's no incentive for them to do that. It's not like you were working on commission for every Mac or every phone that you brought in for repair. You didn't get a commission on it. So I don't know. I hate reading these kind of things because they really get me upset.
Well, let's look at you more upset because the FBI and Apple debate. You see how that transition there?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, so remember, this has been going on for years about how Apple and the FBI, Apple won't unlock their phone. We already kind of know all that. Now, a recent article came out about, this explains, and this is what I really want to talk about with this one, is that Apple already does help the FBI. One of the major things that they hand over is iCloud backups of their phone.
Yes. Yep.
So, which includes mostly everything except for passwords. everything pretty much comes back on that phone. Notes come back over, text messages come back over. So really, you get everything you need that I think that would be necessary. But the fact is that they want someone to give them that phone and press that unlock and put a software in there and unlocks that code so that way they can get to everything.
Right.
And that's not going to happen. And Apple is not going to just unlock the phone because they don't have the password to your device. How crazy would that be if that was in the wrong hands?
If something is developed to do that and they insist on a backdoor and Apple does that, that means literally anybody at Apple, for any reason, unbeknownst to you or to I or to the FBI, can get into anybody's iPhone to get any information they want. The one thing that I always told customers is the number one product that Apple sells is privacy. Mm-hmm. You know that when whatever you put on your phone is just for you. People were big, you're a photographer. People are big on the Google Cloud, putting pictures in the Google Cloud. It's free. Why do I have to pay for iCloud space? I said, well, there is no free lunch. They're saying it's free, but they're getting information from those pictures about you. Whereas with iCloud, those photos or all of your data, not just your photos, but your notes and everything, goes into the cloud, and that's yours. That's it. Nobody has access to it. Now, as you know, people forget your iCloud password. There's no magic wand that can repair it or whatever. So
not even Apple. We have to erase phones every time that we had to do that.
Yep. So
and I'll tell you the bottom line, and this is the simple debate to it. The simpler term: do you want your iPhone to be secure or not? So you have a choice: put a passcode on it or you don't, and that's your decision. So if you feel strongly that Apple should unlock their phone, then why don't you take the passcode off of your phone? Because you're basically telling them to do that. But no, people want the middle of that. They want to be able to get through it. I'm like, that's the answer. So if anyone ever came up to me and said that said, man, Apple should give the back door, and I'll be like, okay, well here, why don't we take the passcode off your phone, don't have it on anymore, and that's exactly what you're asking for.
Yeah.
And that's the answer.
And, how many people did you run into that didn't have a passcode on their phone at the store?
It's typically not too many. Not too many. There are a few. I think some people just don't care because they have nothing on there to hide. Which I do have stuff to hide because I have my TD Bank on there. I use my stocks on there. I have access to all my bank accounts on there. That's. Yeah, I care about that. I don't want no one to get into that. In fact, and this is the crazy thing that people think I'm crazy for, I have my wife's social security number in the Notes app locked up with the extra lock.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can set a different passcode for your notes to be locked. But I do that because I trust it. Yeah. I believe that Apple can't get to this, and no one's going to get into this phone. On top of the fact, no one's going to know the note that I have that has that information in there.
Exactly. I do much the same with my wife's information. Just because there have been a number of times when she'll say, how come I can't get into this? And it's clearly telling her, log in put in your password. And she says, I don't know what it is. So I have to go to my app and say, okay, here it is. Put it in. Mm-hmm. So I have all of that, whether it's in Notes or I use that number one lock. Have you ever used that?
I don't like 1Password because it doesn't work as fast as saving the password in iCloud.
In the keychain?
Correct. Keychain is much faster. It updates when you go to a website and you update it, updates it right away. I tried 1Password, but I wasn't feeling it. Not to mention, it doesn't update your password all the time.
Yeah, I have to go in and update them manually.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting, or not interesting, but I find it useful that I can have everything in one place.
Yeah, but I think Keychain does that now, and it works with your Mac. It connects directly to your Mac. I could never understand. Like, you won't be able to convince me to change my method. I think I don't understand it. You're talking about going to a third party that will control your passwords, and I'm sure they're secure. But you're still asking me to go to a third party to put these passwords in, and they don't update on their own. You have to do it, manually. And if I tell someone, hey, here's 2 password methods, you could use 1Password here, or you could use Keychain, and I'll show them both of them. And if you tell me which one's easier, Keychain is going to win every time.
Oh yeah, it will. It's just that I think that the fact that there's a separate app. And in order to get the keychain, you have to go through settings and, accounts and passwords now, right?
Yep.
That's where it is. And, I've been using it, so I just don't. Plus, I have friends who forget their stuff. And I say friends, I don't want to say elderly friends because they're my age, but but they forget their stuff. So I have their stuff in there so that when they call and say, how come this isn't working? I said, well, this is the password. Did you put that in? Oh, no, because they forget it.
Now, do you discuss this when you go to the diner every morning?
Yes.
At 6 a.m.?
Yeah.
Moving on to another story that is interesting. Apple has finally, by the way, Apple turned 19 years old.
Oh, yes.
The Apple Store.
That.
Yeah, so Apple turned 19 years old recently this week, and in honor of them doing that, they released a COVID-19 article to all their customers. And how they did that was kind of took over. If you go to apple.com right now, they have a entire dedicated spot saying Apple's approach to reopening our stores. And really, it's a lot of what we talked about last episode. So if you want to hear a little bit more of what they're actually doing in the store, please download our previous episode and you can listen to what we talked about with that. But this basically just talks about what their approach is. They're looking at all data as far as cases, trends, and deciding what store is opening where. You can find more stores now in the U.S. opening up. The most popular one I could thought of was Orlando. Finally has an Apple Store opened up. They're dealing with a lot of stuff down there.
Yeah. This whole opening up, let's say in Jersey, I don't know. I think
not anytime soon.
You know what it reminds me of, Will? They're saying it's going to be open. The beaches are going to be open for Memorial Day. It reminds me of Jaws. It really does. Every time they talk about it, it's purely a matter of economics. They want to get the beaches open for the holiday season, and I think what's going to happen, just like in Jaws, they're going to open it, and then there's going to be more attacks, and it's going to spike, and things are going to go up, and then they're going to end up shutting it down again. I think we need to really just take our time with this because it's serious.
It is, but also people, like, if my Mac broke, what am I supposed to do? I mean, there's a point where I have to get service done on something, and doing it from my home, waiting for the box to get here, send it out, it's just one more extra day that adds on to not having work done. And so I can see why that. Remember, right now, what they're saying about the store, they're pretty much doing a one-to-one interaction with everybody.
Right.
The good thing about the Genius Bar, they don't want us to go back and forth between customers. Remember, one of the bigger things was staying on a time frame with customers when it comes to the queue. So I would work with one customer, go away from them, and work with another. Well, that's not going to happen anymore.
Right.
It's going to be a real, when that person's done is when you start doing the next thing. They talked about face coverings, the cough and fever. We talked about that. So they're deciding when the right time will be to open up certain stores. So go to Apple's website. They will show you, look at the store list and see if your store is opening up.
A couple of hours ago, all of the 5 stores in our area, Quaker Bridge, Freehold, Willow Grove, Bridgewater, and Cherry Hill, are still closed. And with no announcement of curbside pickup or anything like that. Although it may be coming because I saw today that there are a couple of stores in the Quaker Bridge Mall that are opening for curbside pickup, Macy's and one of the restaurants.
a few stores like Alaska opened up, Florida, California, Alabama. So it's slow. It definitely, the amount of cases in the area is going to depend on when it opened up. So that's what they're choosing. And the only thing I don't know is if they are going to be doing one-to-one. Not one-to-one. I'm sorry. I still call it one-to-one. If they're still doing Today at Apple in those stores.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything on that. I think it's just like we talked about last week. They're going to have those little videos and things of that nature, but I haven't seen anything about where they're going to have open sessions. As
of right now, I'm looking right at the Florida Mall as an example. They don't have anything scheduled, like I kind of predicted they wouldn't. So I think it's going to be a while before this Today at Apple picks up. I think it's still going to be stuff at home. But they finally added something new, which was good. They finally added a new video, which is using the Clips app.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, the Clips app, I did use it for a while, but I stopped using it.
Yeah, I think that app, they brought that out as a alternative to Snapchat or something like that.
Yeah, it's like their version of it, and they should I think they should just incorporate that into iMovie, and I'd be happy.
Right. Yeah.
That's all they need to do. You know, and I think it's just as good. It's just harder you can't cut anything in there, so you have to record things the way they are. So it's kind of like there's no real much editing to it. But I wish that they would incorporate the Clips app into iMovie. So instead of choosing trailer and movie, put clips in there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so easy to cut a piece of the video out that you don't want in iMovie on the phone or your iPad or on your Mac. It's really just highlight the area you want, cut it out. So, yeah, I think they have a lot of room that they can put that stuff in there and make it a singular app.
Now, Rod Stewart is not one of my favorite artists, but he did come out with a song. You know what it is? Some guys have all the luck, right?
Yeah, right. That's right. He did.
Right? Well, someone got pretty damn lucky because they dropped their iPhone into a river, and 8 months later, they got it back, and it worked. We wanted to close out today's episode with this little fun fact. So there was a nice article talking about a guy who dropped his iPhone into the water. It was in a zip-up plastic bag, and he thought he lost it. But 8 months later, 8 months.
Yeah, he got a phone call.
There's 8 months. That's 4 times 2 is 8. He got a phone call here that someone was able to get the man's number from a business card that was inside the iPhone case, and received a call from a tourist that lost it. And he's like, there's no way. That can't be possible. And he returned it via mail, fully working.
Yep, that's an amazing story. It really is.
So now I'm going to tell you right now, do not think your iPhone can do that, okay? He had a lot of luck. Because like I said, Rod Stewart was on his side.
Yeah.
And he got lucky that he was able to, deal with that. So, you could definitely get a waterproof case. They do exist out there. But I thought this was a tremendous way to end the episode talking about this story. And, a lot of people do that. They put their business card inside of their case, which is actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I think it leaves markings, which is why I don't like it. But, hopefully you would also, if it turns on, you would have you're using the lost iPhone feature that would allow you to display something on there. But I can't believe it worked.
That was amazing. I was surprised. And they had a picture of it.
Yeah, it looks
when
bad.
When it back was all muddy and stuff. I mean,
yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, it looked like in terrible shape.
But hey, he said it works, and he's using it, so there you go.
This is where I think Apple products are so good. This is where an Apple Watch would come in. Is a really good product to have in the water. I think for me, I'm a little scared sometimes to wear an Apple Watch in the water. I'm not gonna lie, but I should just go for it. Especially I have a warranty on my watch, so I shouldn't really have to care. But
I was the same way, Will. But the new one, I mean, I don't wear it in the shower, but last summer in the pool, things like that, man, it was fine. And I got the new one because it can do the EKG, does the heart rate,
right,
all of the health features. And one of the features on the watch is that if you should fall and you don't get up within a certain amount of time, the watch will come on and say, "Are you okay? Have you We've noticed that you've fallen. Do you need assistance?" And if you don't respond to that within so many seconds, it'll dial 911 for you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty handy because you see a lot of those different advertisements.
Oh yeah, Frank is definitely going to be in
devices.
those. No, Frank, you've been in a couple of those commercials, Frank. I saw you in them.
Yeah.
Help! I'm Frank, and I can't get up.
That's right.
Or the hearing aid, which, by the way, that feature is built on there as well with the AirPods.
Yeah.
So you can extend the noise out. So really, all those products were just the starting point to what ended up the Apple Watch and a combination with the AirPods Pro. Basically, it's the old people lifesaver.
Well, Will, don't forget, Apple is still the leader in accessibility for all people.
I agree.
Not your common user doesn't realize all of those types of features. Like one of the features I use on my phone, I have my ringer off all the time on my phone. And what I do, I have the ringer, how it'll make the flashlight light up and blink. And people have asked me, why do you do that? I go, because whenever I get a text or thing, I don't like to hear that because, I could be talking to somebody. I don't want to be interrupted with that. Mm-hmm. But with my watch, it has the haptic touch on it. I can feel when somebody calls, and I can see that flash. I think it's much more convenient, at least for me.
But Frank, I just checked my invisible Apple Watch, and we're out of time for today.
Oh, man. It flies by, doesn't it, Will, when you're having a good time?
Absolutely it does. And actually, and on top of it, my Ember mug is empty. So that means there's no coffee left, and that means I kept my coffee nice and hot.
Well, listen. Now, your coffee, you're drinking decaf, right?
Of course.
I don't know why you bother.
What do you mean why I bother? I like the taste of coffee on my lips.
Yeah, I know, but if I'm going to drink coffee, it better be caffeinated because it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like drinking non-alcoholic beer. What's the point?
Maybe some people like the taste of alcohol. Maybe they don't. Maybe they like the taste of a beer without the alcohol in it. I'll bet this. I'll go have 3 energy drinks to make you. Does that make you feel better?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
I'll be wired up all night.
3 Red Bulls.
And then I'll fly.
And then you'll fly. Yeah.
And then I don't want that. All right, Frank. Well, of course, we want to thank you for coming to the show again. We want to thank everybody for listening to us every single week. Make sure you check us out on our Think Different Podcast Facebook page and our Instagram. Also, we have clips of all of our most of our episodes available to you on YouTube. We did a lot of great stuff up there. In fact, the last episode we put up was our Apple Store. Again, we talked about the changes in the Apple Store. But our most popular video is still, it's Waze versus Apple Maps. Frank, have you ever checked out that video?
Yes, I did.
All right.
Yeah.
And would you agree that Apple Maps is better than Waze?
Yes.
Thank you.
I would.
It's funny? My wife said the same thing, but she still uses Waze, and Apple Maps is not on her phone. So even though she said yes, she thinks it's better, she still doesn't use it. Annoys the hell out of me.
I like to keep my life simple. Why do I want to go get a third? Just like you said with my 1Password.
Why do I want
to use a third-party app?
Oh, well, good. That means you're going to stop using 1Password, everybody. I just convinced them. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us for this episode. I have convinced Frank that third-party options suck.
Have a good night, man. Take care.
Suck.
When everyone is on the same page, getting things done is easy. Make a bigger impact at work with Grammarly. Grammarly is your secure AI writing partner that enables your team to make their point and move faster. You can even save time by going from spending hours editing drafts to just seconds. Join the 96% of Grammarly users that say it helps them craft more impactful writing. Sign up and download Grammarly for free at Grammarly.com/podcast. That's Grammarly.com/podcast. Easier said, done.